Hello, everyone, and welcome to Poptale Weekly for December 29th, 2021. Hello, and this is the last Poptale Weekly for the month, or for the month. Well, I mean, technically, yeah, for the month of December and for the year of 2021. I am your host, Liam Irvin, and as you can tell, I am almost prepared. It's been a few weeks since we've done these. So, originally, the plan was not to do a Poptale Weekly until 2022 due to some issues with COVID and travel and all those things. My plans for December, especially Christmas, slightly changed. Fortunately, I am okay. Everyone is okay. But it changed the way that we're doing things, and I'm actually here for the end of December. So that being said, I thought we would do a look back at the year in Poptale Weekly. So before I do anything else, I do want to remind you that we are on social media, Poptale Social. We are on Facebook. Find us at Poptale, Poptale. And this is going to be sort of a different episode from past episodes. Now, one of the things that I have always said is that when I do reviews of games, I don't tend to respond to chat. It doesn't mean that I'm not reading chat. It just means that I'm focusing more on the game. But for this one, I decided we'll flip the script a little bit, and I'm going to make this more interactive. So if you write something, I will try to include it as I read back messages, and I will try to be a little more interactive than I normally would be. And the reason is because I want to talk about all the games that we've done. I'd like to go down the list of the games and kind of do a quick review or summary on each one. And I also want to know what you guys think of these games. If you stuck with me for the entire run of the series so far, you should be pretty familiar with them. You may also be familiar with them otherwise from playing them yourselves or what have you. So, that being said, I do want to really quick, since we are at the end of the year, and I have been doing this for now over 6 months, I would just like to thank everyone at Wanderword, and I would love to thank everyone at Poptale for making this possible for me to do these streams on a weekly basis. Having the support of the company has been amazing. I want to thank Simon, Johan, Adrian. I'd love to thank Nick. Obviously, Nick has been a big part of this and is probably one of the big reasons that I'm doing this. So big thanks to Nick for the support. I want to thank everyone at Polar Night in Sweden. It's been a pleasure to work with everyone, and I hope we will continue that into the new year. Also, special thanks to Peter, who is also a really cool individual, and is probably the reason that we're here in the first place, doing all this stuff with these skills and all that. So, I mean, very, very excited to do this, and I could not do this without a lot of talented people supporting me. So, how about we start looking at the skills that we spent time with? So, we'll start on June 2nd. We played Mathcaster. And, of course, Mathcaster, one of the games from Polar Night Studios, and really kind of fun. So this was a math game where you used magic to cast math. I'm assuming you used math to cast spells. I'm kind of reversing that, but you were a magician. You solve problems with math, and it casts magic, and it's kind of fun. Obviously, it's designed for kids, so if you are an adult or pretend to be an adult like I do, may not be as much fun as some other games, but I found it really interesting. One of the things that I really enjoyed was the ability to... Hey, Kevin's here. One of the things that I really enjoyed was the ability to have the game adjust as you played. For me, the game was adjusting very quickly, and I believe that the game is meant to be played over several days and not in a 45-minute block. So I did notice that it was really ramping up quickly. I thought it was fun, and I like kid skills. I think we need more of them for those that have kids. I think it's a really useful thing. So Mathcaster, I apologize for those that may be watching and don't have stuff on screen. For those that don't know, I am totally blind, so my ability to do visual things and visual trickery is kind of limited. So a lot of it's more of a podcast with me on camera. So I do apologize. But pleasure to have Kevin here, and we'll actually talk about Kevin's game towards the end. So Kevin, I'm glad you're here. So we'll move on to June 9th, June 16th, and June 23rd. On all three of those days, we played Starfinder. And listen, I could talk about Starfinder for hours. Of course, the big news is that Wanderword has gained custodial rights to the skill. So it is in our portfolio of stuff, and I think that's really awesome. It is an amazingly cool skill and is really impressive. I really do feel like it's like nothing that we have seen on the Echo. It is very unique, and that everything is really well produced. It is like a radio drama, but you control it. And listen, it's based on a tabletop series, and I don't think you can get much better than that. So I do really, really like Starfinder. I highly recommend that if you have not played it, go back and maybe watch some of those episodes. Take some time, watch. I've done episodes 0 through 3. I don't want to do 4 through 6. I'd like to have you guys play them and enjoy them for yourself. But I really like Starfinder. It's always like, if people ask me what some of my favorite skills are, Starfinder is really at the tops of that list. Really, really cool voice talent. I mean, it's got, Laura Bailey and Nathan Fillion. So, like, really cool people and a whole host of awesome narrators. And I really approve. So that covered 3 weeks. We split it up over several weeks, and that was a lot of fun, and it was neat to get into that, and I feel like it got people engaged. So June 30th, we went on to Popcorn Tycoon, and this was an interesting one. So this is a really cool game, but is hard to stream. And I say it's hard to stream because it's very difficult to play a game where a lot of it relies on waiting. So I did not plan for that, and could have had a bunch of popcorn facts, and we could have talked about popcorn and the history of popcorn and all that stuff. And we didn't do it. And so it was kind of hard to pull that one off. And that's what happens when you're kind of inexperienced with doing these things, where I wasn't really prepared, and I'm learning as I go. And you'll probably notice as you watch these videos that as I've done more and more of them, I've gotten more and more comfortable with streaming this sort of thing for you guys, because I feel like it's different than the normal stuff I do. A lot of my streams are really casual, and I try to make these less. I try to make these more, less casual. I try to make them more like professional, which is different for me, and it can be a little scary. But so we weren't really prepared. Maybe we should revisit that one day. I would be totally willing to do that. So Popcorn Tycoon, not a bad game. You essentially build a popcorn army. You buy poppers, you pop more. I don't mean the drugs, but you buy popcorn poppers. You make popcorn. You can buy more items that increase the amount that you pop per second. And your goal is to just pop tons and tons and tons of popcorn. So maybe we'll revisit that next year. I might put that on the list. So that was June 30th. July 7th was Dark Citadel, and this was a game that theoretically on the surface looked really cool. It's a story. It's an RPG. There's a lot of chapters. This is the game that we ran into a lot of issues with the game giving us errors, crashing, not so much crashing, but not being able to give us the correct information. Some people thought it may have been a session issue, but we had a lot of problems with it. And it was really unfortunate because it was one that I was really excited to do. And if those issues ever get sorted out, I would love to revisit that one. I'd love to go back to it. That is a definite I'd love to revisit. Super fun. Definitely, would have loved to have seen that gotten fixed up. And so, who knows? I don't know what's going on with that one, but unfortunately Dark Citadel just didn't work. Then we had Animal Rescue, and this might have been one of the bright spots of the year, honestly. This is a really cool skill made for kids, and it's all about animals and conservation and raising animals. It gives you a story, you answer questions, and I thought it was really fun. There was pandas. There was, we didn't do the sea turtle. Well, I'll let you guys vote. We had tigers and sea turtles, and so we did the panda, and the panda was fun. And then we did the story about tigers, and that was super fun, and actually had a lot of really cool interactive activities. At one point, the game wanted me to crawl around and then roar, and of course couldn't do that because I'm here in a chair in front of a camera. But I really appreciated it. It was also really cool to have Sarah Wilson tune in, and that was an extra treat. Sarah was one of the creators and is really cool. And so that was really neat. Loved having, them show up. Camaro76 writes in, Starfinder is my favorite skill. Got me interested in tabletop gaming. Yeah, I have to be honest. I feel like I always had an interest in tabletop gaming, but I do feel like Starfinder, the way that it was laid out, really got me more interested. And actually later in the year, I was able to do some tabletop gaming for charity, which was super, super fun. Not really in the scope of this stream, but I'm going to talk about that really quick. So, yes, we had a lot of fun with Animal Rescue. I want to come back to Animal Rescue. I want to do the panda story. We were waiting for the penguins. I don't know when the penguins is coming out, but I would love to revisit that. So that is going to get revisited. I can promise you. We are going to revisit that one. Rosemary's Fate was July 21st. And so yeah, Rosemary's Fate, right? Life Worth Living. So we kind of changed things up for this episode. And what we did was play an audio game. And those that know me know that I do a lot with audio games. I have created audio games. I've been doing computer audio games since the early 2000s. And so this is, sort of my wheelhouse. And so Poptale had written up an article on this game and said, hey, Liam, since we did the article, you want to play this? And I said, sure. And this game was a real mixed bag. It was a very cool idea in theory. I had a lot of issues with the fact that the people that made it spoke English as a second language, and that can be hard, especially when you're acting. I did point out during the episode that I speak very minimal Spanish, and the idea of trying to voice act in a second language is very difficult. And so I gave them credit for trying. I just found that the game, I found it very jarring, and it was very difficult to deal with. I wondered if maybe the game in Polish was a little better, and I never really got a good answer on that. I kind of don't think it was, from a few messages I received. But it was interesting, and it was interesting to check out. I would not want to deviate again, but it was cool. I mean, I kind of felt like it got a lot more press. I don't want to say that it deserved, because that's not fair to say, but I feel like there are games. So, for example, I've reviewed Blind Drive on my channel, on my own personal channel, and I felt like that was something that really did a lot more with sound and did more stuff. And I wouldn't want to play that on here for a few reasons. It's definitely not family friendly, and I've already played it. And for those that know me, they know it's very hard for me to play because of my hearing. So that was not so good. So that was July 21st. So yes, I will not revisit Life Worth Living. So I can definitely say that, but it was cool to play it, and I appreciated when I originally played the original demo. I did appreciate having the developers in. We did keep in contact, and it was nice to do that. I always like to chat with developers. And I don't know. I mean, I am a developer, so it's cool to talk to others that make things. All right, then we move on to July 28th, and that was Night Manager, and that was really fun. Night Manager is a neat little skill, and it's something, one of the things that I really enjoy about Night Manager is that it allows for a lot of interacting with others, and I don't think it's something that a lot of skills do. Cursed Painting, which I'll probably talk about at the end here because we haven't done Cursed Painting on Poptale Weekly. I really feel like we should. And it's one of those things we didn't get to just because of the way that, things went. Cursed Painting has a little bit of that sort of interactivity and that not so much competing, but working together and collaborating. But I didn't find a lot of it in there. And Night Manager has both collaboration and competition, which I really, really like. I think it's cool. And that was really fun too, because we had a lot of people tuning in for that, and a lot of people were actually sending me things, and we were competing and having fun, and I love that sort of thing. I'd love to see more of that. So that was Night Manager. I don't think that's one I would revisit, but I will say it is a fun skill, and I would highly recommend you check it out. August 4th was Detective X, and I was really sad because we had Clint tuning in, and I'd actually love to have Clint on if he ever wants to join. And I extend that for any developers that have made something. If you'd like to come on and chat as well while we play your game and talk about your game and maybe do some, commentary. Chris, for example, who's, done Space Bones, which we'll get to, and is working on another project. I'd love to have him on if he'd love to be on. I think that'd be really fun. So the problem we had with Detective X was that there were a lot of issues. We had it crash all over the place. And that made me kind of sad because, it was like... Oh, sorry. So it's like... You have this really cool thing, and we weren't really able to play it. And I don't know. I haven't spoken to Clint. I should really reach out to him. He's a really super nice guy. Made another really cool Halloween skill, which I meant to check out on stream. It was just a quick one. It was like a cauldron skill where you mix things and it makes something. So maybe we'll check that out next year. But Detective X, really cool thing. We just could not play it. I want to revisit that though. So that is like on my list of things to revisit for next year. And, so I'm sorry I can't say a lot about that. So I'm really, I like the idea though. It was really cool. The 25th, of course, in August, I went on a little break. I went on vacation. But while I was gone, we gave away an Echo Dot, and that was a really cool competition. Big ups to the winner. And, of course, as you guys know, we do giveaways now and then. So it's, that's why it's really important to follow us on social media, whether it's Facebook or Twitter, or join our email list at poptale.com, because we're always giving away Echo Dots. We've got them. We want to give them to you. We want you to have an Echo Dot. We want you to play these cool games. So, it's what we want. All right. September 1st was Journey 3000, and this one was really cool. It was one of the original Choose Your Own Adventure games, books in game form. And, of course, it was really neat because the grandson of the author actually did the narration. I know that there was no sound effects. It was just essentially someone reading a book to you. But, if you go back and you think about it, for those that are blind that may have remembered, when I had the books and got them from the library, I had to have someone read them to me. So really, it was kind of like going back to my childhood a bit, which was really cool. I really enjoyed that. So that was kind of neat. One of the cool things that having it in skill form, it can track your progress. You can jump back at any point. It also counts the number of endings you have. So it's kind of cool to see someone take a book and make it into a skill and sort of move it forward. That was really neat. I would recommend that. Obviously, not something that we will go back to. Hello, Blind Insanity. All right, so We move on to September 8th, which was Spacebones. And this actually is a skill I like a lot. Chris has done a lot of really cool stuff with it. There's a lot of moving parts that I didn't really get to talk about. One of them is the market. There, I believe, is a web interface that actually shows you real-time market data, which I thought was really cool. I am always a huge fan of any game that uses a second screen or uses other sort of mechanisms to enhance the gameplay experience. So people that know me know that I'm really into the Jackbox games for that reason, which, it's like I love when a game uses a second screen, uses other methods of input, does something to extend the gameplay. I can't think of many Echo skills that do this. So I feel like Chris has got this going, and it's really cool. Spacebones was neat. We, of course, ran into, I think I ran out of fuel, or I ran out of something, which was too bad, but it was a lot of fun. And I believe Chris is working on some other cool stuff. And so Spacebones, I don't know if I would revisit Spacebones, but I will definitely play whatever Chris's new game is. I don't know where he's at in the process, but I'm certainly going to keep in contact with him. And when his game comes out, I want to do something on that because he's actually working on something that's really kind of neat. Bluebeard's Bride was September 15th. And okay, this was a hard game because number one, it was very difficult to get the game to start. Number two, there were a lot of audio discrepancies. So things were not normalized. It just was really awkward at times. It was a Game Jam game. So I understand that when you have a game that's a Game Jam game, they're not always fully polished, but I would love to have seen more done with it. Also, and I do want to thank Bill Freeman who wrote to me, and I don't know if I referred to this. I may have talked about it in a later episode, but the game actually has a whole set of actions. So there's like take and I think put and like examine, but the game didn't tell us that. So it was like we weren't able to really interact in the way that we should because the game didn't tell us that we should. And one of the things that I do when I play these games is I don't always check them out ahead of time because I want you to get my reaction to them. But unfortunately, sometimes I miss out on things that I should know, but that wasn't my fault. I blame the game for that. So I really was disappointed. If they ever go back and revisit it, like update it, maybe I would check it out again. I thought it was very interesting, definitely creepy, uncomfortable in a way, but I like that sometimes. I think you need that. All right. Then we moved on to September 22nd, which was Iron Falcon, Shadows of the Past. And this one was really cool. It was a narrative voiced by Matthew Mercer from, what's that thing? Critical Role. And Matthew Mercer is an amazing voice actor. Done a lot of really cool work, and it really is on display in this skill. I enjoyed this. I kind of felt like it was linear, but I believe if I played it again, I would take another path. Can't say that I would revisit this one, but if you like a good little story with some good voice acting, I would recommend it. It took me about, I think, 45 minutes to complete. The game said it was going to take like 60 to 90, and I really feel like we blew through it quickly. So maybe it's 90 minutes in total. So maybe there are some other options. I was really hoping there would be some other endings or outcomes, but it didn't feel that way. But maybe if I played it again, there would be. So I don't know if that's on the revisit list for sure. I'm going to say maybe, possibly. So we did Iron Falcon. Then October 6th, we did Clash of Legions. And it's kind of funny. I feel like there's a week missing, and I don't know why I missed a week. What happened that made me miss a week? I'm looking at my calendar really quick. I'm like, why did I miss a week? September 22nd. Yeah, I missed a week. I don't know what happened on that Wednesday. I wonder if I had something going on. But something happened that made me miss a week of Poptale Weekly, and I don't know if it was... Maybe I took that week off or something. I don't know. But anyways, so there was nothing on September 29th, unfortunately. I might have had work or something. Did I? That might have been around the time of... Was that... that might have been around the time of... Oh, you know what I think it was? We had something going on. I know we had Everyone Games, and I think I asked for that week so I could prepare. So I took the week for Everyone Games, which was really cool. I got to play in a D&D, or well, it was a Dungeon World game. And we also did a stream about the skills. So we played some of the Polar Night Studio skills. And that was actually a lot of fun. I would check that. I would suggest checking that stream out. I don't think we streamed it on the Poptale channel. We may have. I don't think we did. I think I streamed it on my own channel. Let's see. So October 6th was Clash of Legions. It was kind of a cool little skill. You wager your units against your enemies, and whoever puts the most up wins, and you try to deplete your enemy without losing all your units. It was fun. It was kind of a cool little time waster, not something I would play again, but also not a bad skill. I mean, it worked. It was very, very cool. I do want to jump back a couple weeks because I mentioned Space Bones, and something I didn't mention, and it will go back to something I mentioned earlier in the program, which is I am totally blind, and so I missed out on some of the cool visuals with Space Bones, and because I'm not using an Echo Show or one of those devices, I missed out on the cool cockpit stuff and the really cool display stuff. So what a lot more skills are doing now is they're adding some really cool visual components to them. And unfortunately, the way that we do things on Poptale Weekly and the way that I have to do things, I miss out on some of those things. So I do apologize if the skills that I mentioned have cool visual components. I'm certainly not trying to forget them, and I'm not discounting them, but I can't really comment on them. So my apologies to Spacebones, but we are seeing more and more skills take advantage of visual components, whether it's videos or overlays or really cool things like that. So I apologize, but it did pop back into my head and I wanted to bring it up. So yeah, Clash of Legions, it was fun. I mean, that was a kind of a shorter stream. We played it. We beat all the other legions and won, and that was that. And it was okay. It's kind of a game of chance. If you can find it, kind of figure out how the computer is going to play it. Sometimes you can get them to waste a bunch of enemies at once, and then you can just clean up. Then we did Pioneer Trail, which I actually really enjoyed. It's a version of Oregon Trail, but without the copyright, as I think Broder Band or whoever, has the copyright. So they had to sort of change it. I believe it's a Bally skill. Bally's done a lot of really cool stuff. Maybe we'll talk about more of their stuff next year. They've done the Are You Smarter Than a Fifth Grader skill, which is cool. They've done Song Quiz, which I can't do on here because YouTube will pull the video down because of the music. They've done a price tag game, which is sort of like a Price is Right, which I really enjoy, actually. And they've done Family Duel, which is kind of like Family Feud. Maybe later in the year, I will get Cassandra to join me for some of those, and we can actually do some of those because they've got some two-player components, which might make them kind of interesting. So Pioneer Trail, super fun. Unfortunately, I died. I am used to Oregon Trail, where when you are hunting, you can use skill to hunt, and the game is completely based on dice rolls. And so I did not come out with enough food, and I think I came out with like way too much clothes. I wasn't sure what I needed, so I brought like all these clothes, and yeah, it wasn't so good. Space Express was October 20th, and let me tell you, I loved Space Express. I don't know. I'm going to be honest. Hey, Blind and Sandy, thank you so much for the super chat. Apologies that doesn't show up on stream because we're doing Poptale Weekly. We're using different software. But I want to thank you for that. Thank you so much. That is really kind of you. I just popped it up there on screen so you guys can see it. Blind Insanity is watching on my channel. And if you guys don't know, we multi-stream this on a number of channels. So we're on Poptale, we're on my channel. I believe we're on VoiceSpark. Might be on VoiceSpark's YouTube. I'm not sure. But we're also on Facebook and a few other things. So that's really cool. And I really appreciate that more than ever. Because I'll talk about it on the next Just Chatting stream. But anyways, Space Express. I love this skill, and I don't know why. I think it's the mixture of humor and just the way it's put together. One of my favorite things is there's a newscast, and the newscast is actually semi-important, giving you details about things that you need to know about and things that are going on. I like the skill. I don't know if I would revisit it. I might. I mean, I would actually like to play through it. I like to beat it. So maybe we could revisit it next year. I'd like to see what else is out there. I think the galaxies get more difficult. I don't know how far the game goes. So maybe we could think about that. Then we did, for Halloween, we played Escape 63rd and Wallace. And of course, this is another Wanderword Polar Night Studio game. And I like this one. I grew up in Chicago. I still live here. And I love anything that has got Chicago history. I love that it's based on a historical event and real historical people. Obviously, there is, it's fictional, so there is some stuff that's fictional, but I love it. I think it's really cool. The sound design, the way that the Polar Night and Wanderword do sound design is really awesome. It's something that I have found really fascinating, that as things are being discussed, there's sounds for them. The sounds match up with the narration, but it's not so overwhelming that it's overwhelming. And that's one thing about Starfinder, that some people do find it to be a little overwhelming because of just all the sounds and everything going on. But I like Escape 63rd. I think it's a really fun game. It is linear as far as everything is going to end up at a certain point, but how you get there is up to you. Escape 63rd, of course, has two modes, the puzzle mode and the story mode. Puzzle mode adds some more elements, and you can actually die in puzzle mode. So if you really want a challenge, there's puzzle mode. Story mode is more like reading a novel with a couple puzzles thrown in, but really more about narrative versus solving puzzles and sort of an escape room type thing. So, I mean, I would definitely say that Escape 63rd is something that you should check out, especially if you enjoy crime fiction, true crime fiction, which I love using the word true and fiction in the same sentence. But I really think it's fun. I would suggest playing with that. So we did that. So then November 3rd, which I believe was before my break to go on. Oh, no, what we actually did? I'll talk about this in a minute. We did Shield, Spell, Sword. And this was a really cool take on rock, paper, scissors. Now, I'm going to be honest with you. I hate rock, paper, scissors. I think it's one of the dumbest games ever invented. I hate games that are pure chance. But I liked the idea of having a story, choosing a shield, a spell, or a sword, and letting the fights play out. I was really annoyed that I lost on the final fight, but I liked the idea. I thought it was a cool way of doing it. But like I said, I have a deep hatred for rock, paper, scissors. I like things that allow you to think. Yep, you are indeed streaming on VoiceSpark's channel. Currently watching you on Poptale channel. Need to check out Wanderword's latest game. Oh yeah, I want to talk about that too. And actually, that's on my list of things when we get done with our recap. So Shield, Spell, Sword is pretty fun. I actually would recommend playing it. I don't think there's anything wrong with it. Again, I hate rock, paper, scissors, but I don't hate the game. I think it's a really cool idea. I just, I would have liked, I don't know what I would have liked in Shield Spell Sword. Maybe like the ability to know what your opponent's going to do, or maybe tips or hints or something would have been really cool. So you can make informed decisions. I don't know. I mean, I understand that in a lot of tabletop things, it is left to chance when you roll dice, but you can sort of affect the outcome. Whereas in this game, it's literally pick one of these three. You might be lucky. You might not. So then we did on the 10th of November, when I was actually on vacation, the ghost of Liam. Well, I mean, that would mean that I'm not alive anymore, but Liam in the past joined you for Last Light in the Dark. And I really like this game. This is going to be one of my favorites, I think, of the year, because I really enjoyed the story. I enjoyed that you could make a lot of choices. I enjoyed that there were stats. It was just a really enjoyable game. We only got through, I think we did 3 chapters. I didn't want to go through the whole thing. There was, I think, 8 chapters. So it's something maybe I would revisit. Oh, also, yeah. So for the last couple of games, I haven't done the would I or would I not revisit. So Escape 63rd will not revisit unless there's any significance updates. Although I could do puzzle mode, actually. So never say never. But I don't want to play through the whole game because I don't want to spoil it for you guys. But I would do that. I would be interested in maybe revisiting that, but revisiting puzzle mode. So yeah, maybe. Shield Spell Sword. No, I think we've covered that. I don't think there's a reason to revisit it, but it's not a bad game. I would recommend it. Last Light in the Dark, like I said, really cool game. I like the story. I like everything about it, really. I'm pretty happy with it. I have no complaints. Would I revisit it? Yeah, I might. There's some other modes and stuff. There's a endless mode. There's a combat, I think a arena mode and some other modes to play with in that. So yeah, I might check that out again. Then we did Lost Worlds, and unfortunately, this was something that I felt was buggy, and I liked the idea of it. I thought it was a really neat game, but I felt there was a lot of chance and a lot of bugs. At one point, during the middle of my adventure, the game took me back out to choosing an adventure, and I was not really happy about that. I would have liked to not had that bug. I do like what the game was trying to do. I thought it was a really cool idea. I would revisit that if there were updates. Maybe. I would be willing to talk about it. As you guys are finding, there's very few games that I would not revisit. Even Pioneer Trail, I would consider revisiting, maybe to try it again, to see if I had better luck. Space Express, yeah, maybe. Okay, so that was the 17th, and yeah, like I said, it was not a bad game. I liked it. I thought it was fun. Lost World, I thought, had some promise. It's one of those games where you look at it and you go, this has a lot of promise, and you find game-breaking bugs that you're like, I don't know how this got overlooked, or I don't know what's going on here. Dark Citadel was the same way, where I really thought it had a lot of promise. And that Dark Citadel 2 is something I would probably revisit if that got fixed. All right, so then we move on to December 1st. So, of course, we had the Thanksgiving break, and we all stuffed ourselves with turkey, and that was delicious. So December 1st was Hatchimals. And I like this one. I would like more stuff to do in it. I kind of felt like, I remember the biggest problem we had was I had to wait an hour for the game to do something, and I couldn't wait an hour because you can't wait an hour, and I can't just stop time or make time go faster. So this I thought was a cool game. I had heard from some people that really got more into it and were having fun leveling up their little Hatchimal things. Oh, gotcha pets. I'm calling them Hatchimals. That's something else. Sorry. There was gotcha pets. Hatchimals are those things where they bust out of the egg. You ever see those things? They're a little weird. They have a plastic egg and you like put the batteries in and they actually like break out of their egg and stuff. So gotcha pets. Sorry. Oh gosh. I don't know what I'm thinking. I heard in my head, I heard Hatchimals. Last night's fun waiting for chapter 9 to come out. What an interesting world. Yeah, I mean, I like it. I thought it was cool. I would revisit it. So gotcha pets. Yeah, not a bad game. I would have liked more stuff. I know there's only 17 different types. Oh, the one thing that we noticed was that it seemed really unbalanced. So I'd like to see the balancing fixed. Apparently, I got the one pet that could destroy everything. And then somebody else commented, they're like, my pet does no damage. So it's clear that there might be some imbalancing issues that need to be sorted out. And I hope they are. So then we go to the last game that we did this year, which was, well, it wasn't really a game. It was the Fabella Game Jam. And let me tell you, that was really fun. If for those that missed it, we did a game jam using the Fabella engine. And we said, hey, if you're a writer or developer, we want you to submit a game. And so what I'm going to do, actually, is I'm going to go over all the games really quick. I'm not going to play them, but I'm going to just run down the list and give you my 2-minute thoughts on them. Obviously, you can go back and watch the stream that we did, but I just want to talk about them really quick. Why not? You know? So, sorry, really quick. Okay. So we did Hit and Run Chapter 1. That was the game where you were a student or a young gentleman and witnessed a hit and run. It was cool. It used RPG mechanics. The audio design was amazing. The story was cool. It was one of the games that I wanted more of. I really, really wanted more of it, and I hope we get it. And I believe ultimately that won the jam. I don't know if these are in order on this page or not. So, but I do know that won. I know the first, second, and the third place ones are in order. And I think everything else might be, random. I actually don't know. So then there was a Magical Day, and Kevin did that game, and his dog Cole also programmed, I believe, some parts of it, or maybe just sat there and wagged his tail. I don't know. But a Magical Day was really cool. It had a really cool story, had choices. Obviously, at the end of the day, the game sort of ends up at the same place. But I really liked the story. It was the one problem with it was that I felt there could have been more done with different voices for different characters. Maybe sounds could have been used a little more liberally or less in some places. But as you'll always hear me say on a game jam, it's a game jam. Game jams are designed to be jams. You're not going to have a fully fleshed out finished product. Ironically enough, though, I did feel that Hit and Run, not bad. I mean, and it was one of those things where I was like, if that's their jam entry, what would their full game be like? So would love to see what that comes up with. But yeah, Magical Day was really cool. It was neat. I like the take on magic users in modern times. Usually when you have anything that deals with magic and fantasy, it's always sort of in olden times. So I like the sort of marriage of technology and fantasy. I kind of felt like the blend was sort of put on the back burner once you got into the game. Like there's a couple things that involve a modern tech, and then it's like it kind of goes back to its fantasy roots once you get to school. But I still like the idea, and I know Oh, Kevin says, haha, moral support. You know, don't you feel bad, Kevin? He gave you all that moral support and you took him to the vet. But no, Magical Day is really cool. I don't know what Kevin's plans are, and I'm not trying to put him on the spot. But if he ever works on that more, I would love to play it again. So I know I'm not doing the would you revisit or, for these jam entries, but I think I will. So Hit and Run, yes, we'll revisit it. If they update it, it's a definite revisit. Magical Day, sure. I'd love to see what's next. I don't know what the plans are. And if Kevin does another game or something, I'd probably visit that too. Pet Tales was by William and Liam, not me. There's another Liam. That was a really cool game. I loved it. I thought it was fun. It's a kid's skill, which is cool. I've always talked about the importance of kids' skills. I am not a parent, but I have friends that are parents, and I am constantly inundated with questions about what can I play with my kids. And so I love this sort of thing. I thought it was fun. I thought it was cute. Liam drew the pictures, which is how you know it's not me and it's a different Liam. And it was just really kind of cool. So I'd love to see that expanded. I felt it ends abruptly, but again, it's a jam. You only have so much time. And Will and Liam worked on it together, and I just think that's really cool. I think when you can do something with your kids and bond with them and work with them on a project, I think it's really cool. And I love that sort of stuff. I think it's a cool story. Like, just hearing about how he worked with Liam and did that. So I thought it was cool. So that's going to take us out of the top 3. Would I revisit it? Maybe. It was kind of a short one. But I would like to play some other stuff that Williams worked on. I know he did a really cool card game called Cards of Wonder. It has some visual components that I don't know if they're going to translate well to an audio only sort of system, but I would still be willing to do it. And maybe that will be next year. Hey Sabine, the adventure begins. So this was a skill to learn English. And I had a lot of trouble with this skill getting it to work correctly for me. I don't think it was a Fabella issue. I think it was my computer. So I got to play it a little bit, but it requires that you speak. And I was not able to get the computer to recognize me for some reason. But this is a really kind of cool skill. It's used for language learning, I believe, for English as a second language. And I am always big on that sort of stuff. I think when we can help folks learn languages, it's a really good thing. So what I can really say about this is limited. But, I like it. Kevin said, I'm definitely taking feedback and improving it. Should be a solid update in 2022. Oh, early 2022. Cool. I am happy to hear that. We'll definitely look at it. So that might be maybe when, that update's out, maybe we'll do an episode on it. So, that was Hey Sabine. We move on to Son of a Dog. And, this was a game that I felt was more of a story. I didn't feel like I was playing a game. If you watch my comments on the actual stream, I did talk about this. I gave it a low rating. I have a really short attention span, and so having to listen to several minutes of text, especially being read by a text-to-speech engine, is very difficult for me, and it did not keep me engaged. But this is something that I would, I don't think it's bad. I will not revisit it unless something changes, but not a bad skill, and I don't have anything against it. It just, personally for me, it didn't do anything, but that's okay. I mean, nothing against the author or the skill. It didn't grab me. Elysian Fields, I did not play because it was not a jam entry, and I only had so much time. But I believe it was made as a demo project for the Jam just to kind of show off what it could do. So I should revisit that, and maybe next year we'll take a look at it. When I did the stream, I only played the winners. Does not mean that I can't play the other ones maybe down the road, but we only did the winners. So there were, more things on here. So that I can't speak to that one yet, and I apologize. Shaping, or shaping. This one, listen, Benjamin's a trip. And I've actually chatted with him a little bit after after the jam, and he's a funny dude. And he writes funny stuff. I like this game. This is actually something that I will play on stream when he adds to it. I don't know. I like to pretend that he knew he'd make me mad by doing a rock, paper, scissors battle, because again, those that know me know that I hate rock, paper, scissors more than anything else. And the battle in the game is rock, paper, scissors, but it's funny. I laughed when I wasn't cursing him for doing rock, paper, scissors. So Shaping is pretty funny. Would love to see maybe a better quality of audio. Obviously, he worked with what he had. I've even told him that I'll voice some stuff. And actually, I'll extend that to anybody that makes something. If you ever want to, have somebody voice stuff, I'm always willing to do it. So get in touch. So Shaping was cool. We didn't do it because it, wasn't in the top 3. But if there's ever a considerable update, I will play it on here. I think it's funny, and you can play it for yourself. Actually, if you visit poptale.com, click on the Game Jam link. Then the last one was Time to Go Home. And this was a really interesting one. So you are a grandpa and you're riding home with your family. And one of the interesting things is that apparently your family speaks both English and Finnish. So there is a point where there is text spoken in Finnish. Now, one of the things that I did point out in my review was that I didn't know if the captions for the text were shown on screen. So while I believe it's the mother in the game speaks in Finnish, I wasn't really able to take anything from that. So it was a little strange for me. It's a kind of a glorified guess the number game, which is not bad, actually. I mean, it was cool to see somebody build Guess the Number. For those that don't know, my first ever audio game was a Guess the Number game. And I actually made a talking game that was pick a number between 1 and 10. And it had a bunch of fake prizes and sound effects and yada, yada. So Guess the Number games are kind of near and dear to my heart. If somebody puts in the time to do them. So I did like that. I was like, that's really cool. But to me, it was just a few Guess the Number games and that was it. And some text that I didn't understand. But again, if they were on screen, I didn't see them. So I don't think I would revisit that, unfortunately, unless something major happened. But really cool lineup of games, and I'm excited. So that takes us through the end. This takes us through the end of the year. So I want to talk about what's next. So we've been doing Poptale Weekly for 6 months. Again, I absolutely just adore the support that you guys have given me. I adore the support I've gotten from Wanderword and Poptale and just everybody working with these projects who has been really, really, really awesome. Just being here for me and helping me do this and helping me continue this. And I appreciate that you guys tune in. I appreciate that you're here. I know it's not the most exciting thing sometimes, but I'm hoping that these streams will let you find new games to play. So next year, we have a new game that Polar Night Studios has released. It is A Bard's Tale. I want to stream it really, really much. I was told we were trying to work out a couple things, just, that they wanted to make sure we're working before they were like, go ahead, Liam, do it. But I want to stream it. I'm going to beg and plead again with my bosses and be like, please let me play this. Please let me play this. So there's that. We also have Tales of Sasha, which I did not stream, and it was sort of similar to Mathcaster. It was designed more for girls, which, you know, I mean, I'm not a girl. Shush, I am not a girl. So it may have been more difficult to stream and make interesting, but I still would like to play it. I think if you are a parent, it would be a great game for you. And so maybe we'll look at that next year, but I really want to play Bard's Tale. I want to play it. Please let me play it. So there is that. I've got some other games listed. I recently talked to Rob from Alexa Games, and we were talking about some other games to play. And Rob's been actually really good at recommending things for me. So I'm hoping that we can do that and play some other games. But what I'd love to know now, for those that are still tuned in, hopefully you're still with me, what do you want me to play next year? What is a game that you like, that you're like, Liam, you've missed this, you haven't touched this, or maybe you didn't do this right or could do better? What would you like me to play? Song Quiz, again, is out because of the copyright issues. One of my favorite games is Puzzle of the Day. I don't know how that would translate into a stream. It would be like 5 minutes long, so we might bookend it with something else. But what do you like? What would you want me to play? And failing that, what are some games that you'd like to see made? What's something that maybe we don't currently have that we should have? Throwing out a couple questions. Want to see what you guys think. And I'll give you guys a few minutes. But that's what I got planned for next year. We got a lot more games. We're going to do a lot more cool stuff. I'm hoping that we'll also see some other cool releases next year. I really feel like games are starting to pick up. I feel like we're seeing a lot more skills for these devices, and I think we're seeing like even better skills than we originally saw. People are finding really novel ways to use the technology to make really cool, engaging experiences. And I mean, not to mention, listen, you guys know I can't talk about stuff, right, that we're doing, but there is some really, really cool stuff in the pipeline for next year. And I mean that like we're working on with like Polar Night and Wanderward, like there's some really neat stuff. And it's one of those things where like I can't talk about it until I'm allowed to talk about it, but I want to show off some of those things. I really want to be able to share them with you guys. I'm really, really excited for that. I really think 2022 is going to be an amazing year. I'm just really like, I cannot wait to do a full year of Poptale Weekly where we can come back here at the end of the year next year and be like, here is the full year of what we did. Check this out. We had an amazing year. I'm looking forward to that because we started this in June and we didn't quite have a full year to spend together. And 2022 is going to be a crazy cool year, and I cannot wait. So one of the games I did not talk about, and I will bring up, I'm hoping next year, I haven't worked out my schedule yet for like what we're playing when we're playing it. I'd like to do Cursed Painting. It's definitely something that is fun. It's an older game. It has a lot of cool stuff going on, and it's got a lot of really neat expansions. It's free to play. You can go play it right now. And I would highly recommend it if you have a chance to. And we'll cover it too. We'll spend some time with it and, have fun with that. So I'm going to check messages really quick, see if anyone has written in. And let's see here. Here we go. So Trenton says, more RPG dice rolling style A-Lady skills. So are you talking like more tabletop games, like more D&D, stuff like that? Because I would agree with that. Kevin says, great question. I might have to dig into this and let you know on Twitter. I like the idea of multiplayer or 2-player turn games. Yeah, Kevin. Yeah, let me know because I'd love to know. Like, And Kevin too brings up a really good point, which is I love the idea of 2-player or multiplayer games. I think it's fun to play a game by yourself. But I have found that some of the most enjoyable times that I have spent were playing things like Fifth Grader, or I'm trying to think of what else. Song Quiz with Cassandra, where we were playing against each other and going back and forth. Even, Google's Are You Feeling Lucky was fun because we could play against each other. So having a game where you're competing is fun. Price Tag does that too. So the Bally Skills have been really good about doing competitive play. So I think that's a really good point, and it's definitely something I didn't think about that much. Dot to Dot is a fantastic podcast that more people should check out when there isn't a Poptale Weekly on air. Oh, are they like a podcast about that stuff? Too, I didn't really mention it, but VoiceSpark, as you guys know, I am sometimes a guest host on VoiceSpark Live, and we do a lot with checking out skills and talking about what's new in voice tech. And I would also recommend that for people that want to get news, want to get updated on what's going on in the world. And we'll talk about the good and the bad. I mean, I don't think we're like sponsored by anyone, so we're not like afraid to tell you what we think. Obviously, there's that news story about the penny challenge, and I don't want to get into that on here, but I really hope that maybe on the next episode of VoiceSpark, we'll discuss that. And really, because that, I think, opens up a really interesting discussion on, ethics. And that might be a really interesting discussion piece for the next VoiceSpark. So actually, I should text Nick about that. So that might be, yes, more Starfinder like RPG like dice rolling games. I love a Resident Evil like one. Yeah, I don't know if there's an existing tabletop Resident Evil game, but I would love to see more tabletop games turned into Alexa skills. Like, I feel like that's completely doable and totally like possible. So that might be kind of neat. I could go with that. So yeah. So listen, I think that kind of takes us down to the end. I mean, there's not really a lot more to say, unless I am missing something. So feel free to let me know. But I think we're going to end for today. I guess we're going to end for the year. So I will not see you guys until next year. Still not sure what we're doing yet next year. I mean, like next year, like for next week's episode. Always make sure you stay tuned to our Twitter, our social media. I am on Twitter at Liam Irvin. That's LIAMERVEN. And I want to hear from you. Tell me what you're playing. Tell me what you like. Tell me what you don't like. Maybe you agree with one of my reviews. Maybe you don't agree with one of my reviews. Maybe you're a developer that makes these skills. I would especially love to hear from you. What have you made? What are you working on? What do you want to make? Are you making something you want me to play? I give honest reviews. I'm pretty fair. If I like something, I'll tell you I like it, but I'm not going to trash something. There were definitely, I would say probably there might have been a couple trashable skills this year. I didn't want to do that. I understand sometimes we make something, it doesn't work out. Sometimes things don't go like we want them to. I don't think it's fair to trash something. I'd love to hear from you. If you're a gamer, what are you playing? What do you like to play? Is there like an undiscovered skill that no one knows about that you think we should be talking about? Is there a skill that you think we talk about too much that we shouldn't talk about? Again, do you not agree with the review? I'd love to hear from you guys. I need that feedback. This is how we get better. Please share these streams and these videos with your friends. Please let them know. I'm really happy to see that the Poptale YouTube is growing. I think we're like at 140 subscribers, which I know is not a lot. But when I started in June and really started doing Poptale Weekly, we were at like 50. So watching this grow has been amazing. So please, if you are not subscribed to Poptale on YouTube, please do that. There used to be that old, the old joke, and Fox used to use it all the time for their Fox morning shows, which was watch or we'll get fired. So watch or I'll get fired. I don't think I'll get fired, but obviously if people don't tune in, then this doesn't continue, because then I'm told that we don't need to do this. So I do need your support, and you guys have been amazing. I want to thank you for a wonderful year, and I cannot wait until next year. I'm so excited. I think it is going to be a watershed year. I'm really excited for 2022. Just in general, there's so many things going on. If you are a viewer on my channel, I will be doing a chatting stream tomorrow. If you're not on my channel, you're always welcome to subscribe to that as well. And that is Liam Irvin on YouTube. If you want a short link, it is lerven.me/sub for subscribe. And please consider subscribing. Please support me. Support these great people. Support Poptale. Show them some love. Play their games. Follow us on social media. We cannot do it without you guys, because, listen, we can make all the games in the world, but if you're not playing them and you're not enjoying them, then, why are we here? So I will see you guys later. Good night and goodbye. I will be back next week and next year, and we'll play some more games together. Thanks for watching, guys.